Today we've got a cinematic little show for you with the Germans are going to attack the small little farm area here. The Germans are going to come out of the town. This whole scenario is unscripted except for the 4 aircraft, German aircraft in the scenario, and some of my medics have a script which gets them to automatically heal certain soldiers on my side. You may see them running around. Other than that, I'm going to pretty much let it run on its own, except for in the beginning I'm going to move some of my soldiers into position and just get things moving. Hope you enjoy it. I may add some commentary here and there, but let's kick it off. Start the scenario up. Switch to my side, go into cinematic mode. And move some anti-aircraft up here.
Got it, sir.
Get my captain out there to check with his binoculars up here, see what he can see. So we will have him scouting up there. Can move this crew up here. This tank can back up, holding down the shift key. So get him to back in there and then rotate all in one move using holding down the shift key. He'll do that all in one move. This guy move up here, protected in the front by the houses, the farmhouses. Everything's still fairly quiet. Grab some of these soldiers. Move them up here. Here's some action. We may have been spotted. There are several snipers on both sides. There's some of our team over there. And there will be automatic. The flamethrowers are set up so they will the flame throwing mechanic is live in this scenario on both sides. So they may or may not choose to use their flaming equipment, depending on what's what.
Shut up.
We'll take a anti-tank weapon system up here. I hear a plane coming in. There's our anti-aircraft. Let them, hopefully they can take some shots. I don't know if that plane, that Stuka, looks like a German Stuka. Doesn't look like he was able to get a shot off. Drops a weapon, so that's good. In fact, we may actually want to move these guys up a little more up there.
Get ready, you lot.
And we'll hold some back. Some of our troops in the back here. These guys can move a little more protected over here.
Ready for orders.
Move this guy up. In fact, we'll have our little flamethrower dude over here. This tank is in position now, and it kicks off now. We'll go back to full cinematic mode and just watch things play out automatically. Germans are moving some troops up here. We're getting some grenade launched rifle grenade. battled even further. We have troop movement up here by the greenhouses. The medics are going to try to revive some of our troops. We got the flamer dude back up. Lots of enemy movement up here. Side has been taken care of at the moment. Check for aircraft. Germans are moving up by foot now after an unsuccessful armor attempt up here. We were able to take out a huge, heavy piece of equipment over there. Bit of a standoff now. Germans being cautious after taking a lot of casualties. They're very cautious now. They're still slowly trying to get there. Our Sherman's still alive and well. And the tank here is still doing good. They may be trying to fix this tank up here. I assume they're going to try to fix this tank. If it's fixable. I see some movement, some armor moving up. In fact, we may just step in here for a second. Up a small thing. That's we may have there. Back in this dramatic mode. Still troop movement. Like we have a flame tank moving up on the German side. This could cause us a lot of problems with the trucks. The Germans have really been held back. We had some key victories in their first real attempt. We had many key victories. They took out a lot of their heavy armor right off the bat, so that was an advantage. Now every time this scenario is run, it ends totally differently. So even though all this troop movement is unscripted, it always plays out completely different every time. Nothing in the air at the moment. Looks like this time the Germans have really been held back. Again, the turning point for this scenario seems to be the 3 excellent hits taking out their large armor right at the beginning was key. And if this one isn't destroyed, it's at least tracked over there, so I would say if they can't fix that, get that back running there, and they don't really have that forward punch available. We're going to take our surveillance going here. Stay cinematic, but we'll try to find somebody with binoculars. Have them scout out ahead. Direct control. Binoculars. Have them scout out a little bit. And he's been shot by a sniper. But that lit up some targets for our long-range crews. Let's get a sniper up here. Let's get some sandbags built up here. They don't get picked off, and let's try for those snipers. And it looks like we have some aircraft coming in. It's like a surveillance aircraft, which may have been destroyed somehow, maybe by friendly fire. Very possible. All the rounds in the game are live, and they actually fly through the air, and if you're in the way of that shell, no matter who you are, you will explode. So they got the sandbags built up, which is good. We're going to do this here in case the shell lands over here. And check to see if we have any no medics available. Possibly this guy, but he lost his kit. And we'll use the C key to look for his medical bag of morphine. And there's some morphine over there, so you can always tell it's morphine because of like a square little bag. So we'll get this medic, we'll give him some morphine to work with. And you can see by the orange dots that our guys are... Let's try to get a shot on this guy. So they took a shot at the Sherman. Will we get a shot on him? Looks like they were in the middle of a reload and missed that opportunity. Our medic now is able to heal if any of the guys are still alive. The red circles show our troops that can be revived. And you can determine which troops. You don't want all your troops being revived all the time. That will bring the unbalance into your scenario. What I'll do is turn just certain troops onto revivable, just so it adds to the gameplay but doesn't ruin the balance. And that way you see medics every once in a while running to rescue them. and save soldiers, which adds to the gameplay without breaking it. Let's have this guy get down and try to move up, and there's snipers up in these buildings that have been picking us off regularly. Let's have him move up there if he can make it. See if we got a sniper up here. Sniper there. Let's have him move up. Position. And one of our problem areas are the snipers they have in these buildings, which are able to pick us off one by one. Our flame dude is actually making it slowly up to the front. If he could flame these buildings, that would help us. Get a shot from there. Let's move him up here. Grab control, get him looking up here. And we'll be able to see when he finds some targets. Our flame dude is in a position where he might be able to help us out. We can get a little closer. Armor up there. Let's have him move into these bushes. Although if he uses his flaming equipment in a bush, he may ignite himself. Let's have him move up behind here. Actually over there. Very dangerous because they are able to... In fact, I think we're going to have him just run up here and take the shot. It's a little too dangerous to be direct control. And hide behind there if we can survive. Let these buildings just burn up a little bit. And they have spotted him, so we need to get him back here. We have some mortar shells coming in on him. He has been killed. Can we get a medic up there to save him? He's been knocked out or shot, probably shot in the back. See if we can drag that body back, get his equipment at least. The great thing is that you can reuse equipment once the soldier is down. We can take his flaming pack and it's done. We'll see if we can revive him. If not, we will. Yeah, let's get him back. And the sniper is already trying to get a shot on him. They've been targeted. In fact, let's move him a little further back because there's still snipers up here and we have to deal with that, so we have to move these guys up, get them within range, as the snipers continually try to revive them or bring them back. But we have to deal with those snipers before we can move up. We must deal with that because they're just ripping our soldiers apart. See where our soldiers are looking with those orange dots. That tells you where troops are looking and focusing. Let's go in direct control with our mortar crew and see if we can find out what's going on. I suspect there is some another medical guy. Let's see if we can find that other bag, if he can pick it up from out there. The Germans have really been held back. As stated earlier, we really destroyed 3 of their key forward offensive weapons. And has helped us out of this. Let's move up a little bit from here. In fact, we may want these guys to do a little bit of white phosphorus. Switch to white phosphorus up here and burn some of these targets out. Let's go with an F6 up here.
Yes, sir.
Let's prepare to move up once we do some damage up there. This tank can move up slightly. In fact, we'll give him an F5 move and just let him try to work his way up there with an F5 move. Which means he will be using his AI to slowly move forward instead of a dump move. Not sure if this German vehicle up here is live or not, maybe tracked. And looks like an aircraft. Let's take a shot. And he's out of range. So very difficult to get them because they're smart enough to just come in, look for a shot to take, and then they fly off without us being able to really lock on. Our flamer dude could use some more fuel. Let's move him over to the Sherman. Once he runs over there, we'll switch to his tanks. We'll right click and have him take some fuel out of the Sherman, which we're going to move up. Now he's got fuel. Let's switch back to his gun, his flame gun, and have him get ready to move forward. So that tank is moving up. Let's give this tank an F5 move to slowly make his way up there when he feels comfortable. If he's not tracked, he is tracked. And we'll get our troop out to fix that. Grab these guys, have them move forward. Here, this tank can also start to move forward on the flank up here. Cinematic mode.
Ready for orders.
This soldier move up. Seems to be something quite large up there. Moving back. That looks dangerous, and he's moving. I can see the diesel smoke or his engine smoke, and that does not look good for us up there. That possibly is a King Tiger. That will be an issue we'll have to deal with. And let's start to think of how we can deal with that. We're going to need... take care of him with fire, but we want to get a bazooka type weapon. I'm going to tell our guys to... This guy could maybe take a flank shot if we have him ready over there to get a side shot. He's in a world of trouble right now. We need to get him back down. Shift click and reverse so that he doesn't rotate. And get him back under this little death blade over here. Sherman, we're going to switch him to... does not have any more shells that are... with that. We're going to have to do a Hail Mary to get this Tiger. We weren't quite ready for that, but I believe we can burn these guys out. Let's get them back. We're gonna have to refuel. And we got them. That was something we weren't prepared for. We should have had some bazooka and some AT ready with the right type of shot, but kind of failed on that mission there, but we're still up and running. Let's get some troops moving this way. Move up. We saved this guy, but we took a terrible hit with this over here. Let's kind of regroup and see what's going on. Something happening. These guys should have been shooting phosphorus. Let's have them switch over once they're done their current round. We wanted some phosphorus rounds up here to burn out these snipers. Let's see if we can get that phosphorus. Willie Pete is in the reticule, so WP means we do have our phosphorus rounds now working. And they'll start to do their damage. If there are any snipers left in this area, they will either have to burn or leave. These guys start moving up. In fact, we'll put them on an F5 move to use their own brains to move up. So they'll move up cautiously. Have our officer scout out a little bit for them. Possibly reveal some targets. See if he's got his binoculars on. He doesn't. Now he does. Now let's have him scout. And get him up. Stand up. Now he's scouting. Hopefully we'll reveal something for our troops to see. He scans with it, and it has. Engaged. And this is all automatic in the gameplay. The binoculars, the officers, and the spotters, and snipers are able to reveal targets, and they will automatically be engaged. That's working. Our troops over here. Let's get them to do F5. Up here when they're ready. They're going to continue to try to move forward. They don't feel it's safe right now. So when they're ready, they'll move up. The battlefield has slowed down to the point where the Germans' offensive is almost over. And so in this scenario, the Germans move forward when they spot any of our troops moving, any of our aggression. They automatically go into an offensive mode. Then there's usually quite the skirmish where the Germans sometimes move up almost all the way to this barn. Sometimes they almost completely overrun us. Sometimes we fight them back. And this is all unscripted, all done by placing the Germans correctly with their spotters and their officers and reinforcements. They're all done. Just got a really nice hit on this behind here. Like a mortar and some direct fire. So how you lay out your maps is very crucial on how they will automatically play out. And as stated again earlier, it plays out differently every single time. In this case, we defeated the main thrust of the German armor early, taking out 3 of their main battle tanks up here. That set them back on their heels. They tried to move forward with some troops up here. They were held back. They did have a breakthrough with one of their heaviest tanks up here with a Tiger. I wasn't quite ready for that. I should have had AT on the front line ready to go, so I lost the main battle tank. We were able to save this tank. And yeah, flamethrowers, that wasn't an ideal situation, but we were in a panic mode at that point. There should have been some bazookas or Piats up here. Other than that, we didn't need to use smoke. We got rid of the snipers up here, so in the second phase of this scenario, I would gather all my troops over here, check the equipment, repair any vehicles, scavenge whatever equipment, repair equipment, scavenge in the battlefield, and then form a team to move up into the town. And there's also some German elements that are back here waiting for that. So the scenario goes offensive, then defensive. It goes fast and furious. Then there's a time where you move quietly and you kill snipers and you take one building at a time. So it's a great balance of fast, furious, then slow and cautious. And this scenario can last for hours, as then we would slowly move to the objective of taking the German camp back here. So I hope you enjoyed this little cinematic of the my version of Market Garden. Like, subscribe, let's keep this channel going, and we'll catch you on the next video.